So, hello everyone. Hi, Unlimited Wisdom family and community. Always love doing these. Hi, Mary. Hi, Scott. Hi, Lisa Marie. Hi, Shelley, Melody, Sandy, Matthew, of course, my wife Terry, and CJ, the hostess with the mostest. And the subject for today, I think you guys have probably heard before, but it was just on my mind with everything that's going on. And getting strong is hard. Being weak is hard. Pick your hard. So that was sort of the subject today because I just thought, me and Matt was sharing a little bit of stuff before we went live here. And it's like when you work on something a little bit at a time, the way that you eat an elephant, you just have this imagination that you want something completed. And one of the best stories that I've heard about that, even though I've heard a lot of stories, is Jim Rowan going over to his mentor's house for the first time, Earl Shove. And he said he knocked on the door, and the wife answered the door, and he says, "I'm here to see Earl." And she said, "He's out doing some stuff in the backyard." And so she took him out to the backyard. And the way that Jim Rowan explained it's like, in the movie Karate Kid. You know what I mean? So he said when he went back there, he just looked all over, and it was like koi ponds and these places where you rake sand.
Like
all the,
Mr. Miyagi's place.
Mr. Miyagi's place got all these little trees and stuff going, and all of that, right? And the classic line that we hear all the time is he came up and shook Jim Rowan's hand and said, "How are you?" And he's going, "Great." And he goes, "Man, I don't think I've ever seen a backyard like this." He says, "Man, you're really blessed. God has really, really blessed you." And he looked around. He went, "Yeah." He said, "You should have seen this backyard when God had it all to himself." And I just think that's always funny. So thank you, Michael and Angela, for getting on. Hi, Deborah Grady. Thank you, Scott. And one of the things that we always talk about is eating this elephant one bite at a time. And, as the world continues to get, changing faster and faster and faster, it's this whole concept where everybody looks at people that are doing a lot or have a lot, and they just don't want to admit all the stuff that this person did to get where they are, right? And I think the biggest time I ever talk about stuff like this is, of course, athletics or um, athletics or, of course, the Olympics, because it's like you hear little stories of, yeah, I seen this girl, I seen, and they usually name a champion, and I watched her do gymnastics, and I told my mom and dad that I wanted to do that, and they're like, "How old were you?" I was 5, I was 6. And so now they're competing in the Olympics for their first time at 16. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? It's like that's what they used to always say about Jeff Gordon. When Jeff Gordon first started winning NASCAR races, he was the youngest person to ever win a NASCAR race. And people would look at him and go, "Oh my God, you're 23, you're 24 years old, and you're the youngest person to ever win a NASCAR race." And he says, "Well, I've been racing go-karts since I was 6." And most of the time, you looked at people like Dale Earnhardt, and Dale Earnhardt didn't start driving a car, you guys, till he was 25 years old. So his father, he always worked and helped his father. And then he said to his father, he goes, "You know what? What would it take for me to be able to race?" And his dad looked at him right in the face and said, "You should build a race car." And Dale Earnhardt Jr. went, "Build a race car. I wouldn't even know where to start." And he goes, "Well, you've helped me build cars." And so Dale Earnhardt was like thinking that his dad would just say, "Well, here's a car, let's go race." And no, it was like, your first deal is to find whatever car you can start building and start from there. And there's a really neat stuff too with Dale Earnhardt Jr. When you get to hear stories, Terry and I've watched quite a few documentaries with Dale Earnhardt in it. And like I talked about Born to Bowl, everybody always thought that Dale Earnhardt Jr., just basically got handed, everything. And it was like, no. And so, of course, Sunday was pretty cool because Ty Gibbs, finally won a NASCAR race, and his dad, worked for his father. That's Joe Gibbs, the guy that's won world championships and NASCAR and also NASCAR and he was the head coach for the Washington Redskins for winning Super Bowls. And right away, they interviewed Ty Gibbs and they go, "You won a NASCAR race." And he goes, "Yeah," he says, "it's pretty interesting how everybody thinks I'm a Nepo baby." And he goes, "The problem with being an athlete is you can be a Nepo baby, but that doesn't make you play the sport well." He said you could be handed anything, but you get out here on the racetrack. And I forget how many years he's been in NASCAR now, but it's probably been, 4 years maybe that Ty Gibbs has been in, and he finally won his very first race. You know what I mean? And it's like a lot of wrecks. Dale Earnhardt Jr. talked about that as well. But I thought I'd share with you guys some really cool things. It's like facing the truth is hard. Living a lie is harder. Isn't that a good one? Life doesn't get easier. You just get to choose which hard you're willing to carry. Thank you, Scott. So it really reminded me of today. I was hoping that Matt would be on here because Matt keeps creating all this stuff like crazy while other people, Coach Bob has shared this with me personally, just how difficult it is, to try to build something on the path of using AI. And there's like two groups of people, right? There's people that are using AI upline and they're using it on a daily basis and they just keep getting gooder and gooder. And by getting gooder and gooder with it, it's definitely gonna give them results. But a lot of people, like anything, getting new technology, getting new anything, you first start to do it, and as soon as you start to do it, you go, "Oh my God, I'm not very technical." Craig posted today from Mel Robbins. Is there saying, stop saying you're too old, stop saying you're too young, stop saying that I'm not good at technical stuff. Because if you're making it hard, that doesn't make your end results easier. Right. You got to be willing to go through the hard with the right mental attitude and the right understanding that, listen, this doesn't seem easy to me, but I know that eventually it's going to be easy and it's going to become easier. I'm going to get by the hard. But then with anything in life, you keep challenging yourself, right? So I thought it was funny because I read one here and it said, marriage is hard. Divorce is hard. It's, working out is hard. Being sick is hard. It's like, it's always this concept of if we don't do anything, that things supposedly get easier. And that's just not true. You know what I mean? So we constantly see these stories now where you see this old guy trying to get upstairs because he's on a Ring camera, and he's in his 80s and he's delivering DoorDash. So then someone finds out about him and does a GoFundMe page, that brings in $100,000 so he can retire. Those are cool stories, and I love those stories, except for the other 2 million people that are supposed to be retired that don't have a way to make any money to cover their means. So they're Walmart greeters or they're whatever.
Sometimes when they keep doing stuff, though, it helps them not to die faster.
True. So some people do it Some people do it not to die faster.
If you retire and sit on your ass all the time, bye bye. See you never.
Yeah. But yeah, is there any ones that popped in your head, honey, that in your life, what's been hard? And then, because I know that well, I shouldn't say struggled to get pregnant.
Yeah.
And I can remember going through all the emotional stuff with that.
Mhm.
It's like you hope it happened, and you hope it happened. And for those of you that don't know what happened, and Terry finally got pregnant, and it ended up being an ectopic pregnancy and almost killed her. And so now in your mind, it's like, okay, so now they had to go in and fix her. And now your thoughts are, wow, we couldn't get pregnant before. Now we had an ectopic. Maybe we're not going to get pregnant. So, people that go through that stuff, and that was hard.
Mhm.
Then when you finally got pregnant and had Matt, was it harder?
None of that was hard.
None of that was hard. Terry loved being pregnant. She loved being a mom. And now she loves being a gam. So yeah, it's Matt, do you have anything to bring up with that, or you're okay? I know that you've had you're running on fumes, but it's exciting fumes.
Never. No, I'm doing good. I was just going back and forth with Bob Johnson here a little bit, so I wasn't quite paying complete attention.
Oh,
But I did catch some things. It's like as far as I don't know. Maybe I'm just
I
wired.
don't mean to interrupt you, but it's just
Sure.
pick your hard.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like
No, I know what
can-
you were
It's
saying. That's
harder
what I was
worrying
gonna.
Yeah.
about money than it is finding finding a way to earn income.
So like I think one of the hardest things to deal with is just like, obviously, like, we deal with it a lot in this community, but it's like your own thoughts and your own mind. So when you say pick your hard, it's interesting because, like, I think sometimes it feels like you don't have a choice on what that is,
Yeah.
when the reality is like one of the big breakthroughs for me in my life was reading Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, because in that book he talks about so much and hammers home about how much of your reality is shaped by the way that you design your thoughts, right?
Right.
And so I love the basis of it, like pick your hard, right? Because the truth of the matter is like, a lot of people feel like that's out of their control, but it's not. It's like
Right.
very, very much things. I always think of it this way: things that you struggled with maybe years ago are now part of your daily routine, and you don't even think about it
Right.
anymore.
Yeah.
Right. Yep.
Or there's certain things that you went, God, this is gonna be such a pain in the ass. I can't believe I have to do this.
Right.
And now it's been 3 years since you had to do that thing, and you don't think about how hard it was at all,
Right.
right? And it's like every time you have to do like a road trip, or anytime you have to do something that's like just a pain in the ass, mow the yard, anything like that. It's like, I
Yeah.
don't think about how difficult it was to cut trees 7 years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
You just don't. It disappears. So
You just
that means,
make a big deal out of it at the moment. It's like, oh my
yes,
God,
you shape your
18
reality.
it takes 18 hours to drive from here to your place. You know what I mean? And
Well,
it's
that's
like
that you're thinking about
in your
the
mind,
process.
it's in your mind, it's such a pain in the ass. And then you get in the car
And you roll the windows down,
and you're excited.
and you can stop
Right.
at the gas stations. And I love road tripping in the summertime.
Yeah, then all of a sudden it's just like bing, 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 bing.
Yeah, no, that is the truth. Is like a lot of it's you're gonna find this in like almost everything in life, from my experience so far, is 90% of the pain and misery of something is thought based.
Yep.
Totally.
And it's like,
Yeah.
okay, I have to do my taxes, I gotta go to the IRS, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, and it just ends up being this situation where you just you
Make
you
more
come
than
to the
you do.
conclusion that your brain is your biggest enemy.
Yep.
And
Always.
what's interesting is, instead of taking that to heart, I see a lot of people, myself included, but we're a community, so we can remind each other that that is in your control.
Right.
And like I think a lot of people tend to feel like they can't make the next step or that they're going to make a mistake or whatever. I think if you had to, and I'm going to maybe do this, but like aggregate a month of all of the conversations we've had in this group
Wow.
and
Wow.
then pinpoint the 5 or 7 things that get brought up the most and
Yeah.
by who. And then you can really see just how often we deal with certain things.
Right.
And so like I'm a firm believer at this point in like personal responsibility, and I'm also a firm believer in that if you don't do anything or don't have any action, you're not going to get any results.
Right.
So it's like if you're constantly dealing with the same thing over and over again, you're probably not learning how to do what
You
you're
haven't learned the
supposed to
lesson
do.
yet. Yep.
But I think a lot of people too are like very anti learning new shit, man.
Yep.
It's like
Boy,
it's
that is
insane.
so huge.
Like I'm finding that on a day-to-day basis. You know what I mean? Because I deal
And
with
and
AI
if they're
stuff
not,
and it's like,
if they're not, I like again, it comes down to that attitude, right? It's like if you have to do something different, it's like all of a sudden one day you find out that the company that you're working for, I brought this up to Craig and Matt today, but how many of you got seen me do a video with a company called Loom, Loom? Well, they had a big like founders thing, and you could buy a year at a discount. So I bought a year of Loom, and I think I started in August when I bought it for a year. And I go to log in, and it says that it doesn't have any of my information. So I went through all the stuff to go through it, and then when I went through it, I found out that a company had bought Loom, and it's a freaking huge company. It's like pick between Asia, Europe, and the United States on where you get your customer support. Loom didn't have that. And so I go in and log in, and then it says, oh, don't forget that your first billing date is May 1st. So of course they don't have the data moved over, but I'll ask, hey, listen, I bought a year, what's the deal? But do does that new company that bought Loom, are they are they supposed to be able to say that I get another few months free?
Well, you paid for it, so you get a few months.
No, I paid a year in advance for a company that doesn't exist anymore.
it's kind of like I told my parents this. I was taking the trash out. And this is just one of those things, right? Like anybody here that's a fan of so and so, whatever. But I go to the mailbox, and there's a big, hefty FedEx piece of mail in the mailbox.
Oh, it's good.
And then I come all the way back into the house, and I'm going through the mail, and I'm like, almost 90% of it's junk.
Right.
And then I open the FedEx thing, and in there is multiple pages, not multiple, like 20 pages. It's like a binder of all of these transactions that we now owe because of the tariffs. Because Hannah bought shirts and they were shipped from Canada and the company went out of business. So we owe $320 of money to FedEx for tariffs for shirts we bought in March of 2025. I felt like it was like the tax people. You know what I mean? It's like every now and then you'll, especially living in California, you'll get a piece of paper from the IRS just going, hey, like, we think you owe us another $1,000.
And I
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Right? So it's like, it's interesting because, I sent that to my parents and it's like, what the hell? But then, it goes back to picking your own hard shit. Like you ruminate so long on certain things. And I'm like, odds are we'll figure it out, but I don't want to pay
I
it.
would draw my finger like this and stick it back in the thing, tape it shut, and send it back to him.
Yeah, basically what they did is like they shipped stuff from Canada. As you guys know, with the way that the tariffs worked and still work, is it's like you don't know what's happening this week and what's happening next week. So they said in their email, if the shirt would have shipped 2 days later, we wouldn't owe anybody $300.
My God.
Yeah.
But
I just
because
put,
they
I
shipped
would
on
just
that
put
day and it
I would
flipped
just put a
over,
notice. I'd put a notice in it and say the shirts don't fit.
it doesn't matter. This has nothing to do with the shirts now. It has everything to do with the government and like the
Yeah.
tariffs, right?
Send this
So-
fucking,
It's all Donald Trump's fault.
send this fucking thing to Trump.
I mean, it is Donald Trump's fault.
Yeah, it's
but
just Donald Trump.
Send it to Trump. Let him.
yeah, so
I
so
wouldn't
I don't know.
Fuck
I don't know
off.
how many other people are gonna get pieces of paper like that, but the shirts, by the way, were like $80. So
Crazy.
Yeah.
so
no.
so the crazy thing about it is like you have certain random shit. You could be having a good day, and then all of a sudden you open your mailbox and you owe FedEx $320 because your shirts got shipped 2 days in a different day. And the reason you owe the money and the company doesn't is because they accidentally shipped the shirts out on a day that they shouldn't have, because Trump swapped back and forth every other day on tariffs with Canada.
Have
Yeah.
Hannah
And so-
have Hannah take a video of you when you're setting it on fire.
And
then
so
throwing
because
it
of that,
down.
because of that SWIP swap, this is just one company, but because of that SWIP swap, they're out of business now.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
So just because of that back and forth that Trump
Right.
did,
yeah.
he put this whole entire company out of business.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And that's like one of a lot. So
How many
Yeah.
shirts, by the
it's-
way?
There's absolutely, yeah.
not 300, not they're not $300, $400 nice.
No shit. Yeah, right? I'd forget about it. Throw it in the trash. Fuck 'em. I'd throw in the goddamn garbage.
So
I
yeah,
forget
so
about
what's everybody's thoughts?
What are we
What would
gonna
your
do?
solution? What would your solution be to it? Because
I
it's
already
like
told you I'd either set it on fire, draw a fuck you finger, and send it back to him. I'm not
the
fucking
company's
paying
gone.
that.
The company's
Then-
gone. The
then-
bill came from FedEx. The
then
the
FedEx
bill
can
came
fuck
from the
off.
government through FedEx.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe
I would
my
say.
thoughts exactly are.
I'm
Is that-
hijacking this
Yeah.
this wisdom. but-
Yeah. My thoughts on this exactly is that why wouldn't FedEx, as a large corporation, when a company went out of business that used to pay them and now they went out of business, then FedEx would try to pass what that company charged them on to the consumer. So in my belief, I know that FedEx just sat around and said, well, listen, these companies went out of business, so let's try to pass this on to the people that actually bought the product. And what I would do is use AI or whatever, because you can't take someone else's debt and pass it on to anybody. It doesn't mean that they shouldn't try. They should
Yeah.
try. But I can guarantee you that if you did a little bit of research, you'd find out that Federal Express does not have the right to do that.
Hey, I'll even set it on fire.
And-
Yeah, no, that was my immediate thought. So like I gave the paperwork and stuff to Blue, and apparently the way that it works is, or the way that it had to work is because of the amount of shipping, and this is still something that's happening.
Right.
Basically when they were going through that process, FedEx and UPS made a decision collectively as companies to float the bills and shit and pay them themselves, the tariffs themselves, to not slow down the shipping chains.
Right.
And so what ended up happening is now, a year later, those bills are starting to go out because FedEx has done their back stuff for taxes and went, oh shit, like we spent $1 billion floating for all these companies because of the tariffs. Now those companies owe us money. So what they're doing now is mailing these companies the bill, and then the company is going out of business because the bill is so massive that they can't do anything with it other than file for bankruptcy.
Right.
So once they file for bankruptcy, then obviously, like you guys are saying, FedEx is going to pass that down. From what Blue said, you guys are not going to like this because it could be totally not true or totally true. Apparently, the United States is one of the only consumer countries on planet Earth where you can write in a privacy policy or something like that, and every site you guys buy from has this, that any tariffs or anything like that does float through the company onto you if they choose as a company to do that. Amazon has that. Everybody has that. They're just making a decision internally on whether or not they can do that. So it's like for me, I was like, fuck, okay, I just didn't know like you could it's just interesting because I'm thinking about everybody that's already broke, already doesn't have any money,
Right.
and then all of a sudden they're like getting these fucking random pieces of mail saying
Yeah.
that they owe money all of a sudden.
Yeah.
For me and Hannah, we have the money, but like in general, I thought to myself, I'm like, here's the how long ago? March of 2025.
Yeah. Well, you could do what some people are doing. Some people right now,
So
because of
the
the
bill
exit
didn't hit the
turn.
company till now.
Yeah, there's some people that are actually suing Donald Trump. There's another option, and
No, I noticed
I
that.
think
That's
it
a lot of well, that's the
I
other route is that UPS and FedEx sued Donald Trump and the administration for doing their insider trading bullshit of bouncing the stocks or bouncing the tariffs back and forth every other day so they could
right.
manipulate the market. They made billions off of all of us, and now we have to float the bill and pay it all. Like it's just fucking retarded.
I think it's really interesting, Matt, that you brought this subject on what's hard.
Yeah, no, I agree.
It's like you get to choose your hard.
My heart would be in the
You know, so
fuck
my question to you is, what do you think I would do?
I'm throwing the goddamn garbage.
I know you
Well,
know your mom would do, but what do you
yeah,
think I
yeah.
would do?
I have 3 or 4 options that I would.
Right.
I like every one of them.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's funny. Sandy's Lisa's like got to stop ordering overseas. This wasn't overseas. It was right next door. It was Canada.
Yeah.
It's not fucking overseas.
Yeah.
This is our neighbor. You know what I mean? But you know, it's
But she does bring up something pretty interesting. I ordered something on an ad, and it was supposed to be when you open it up like a ring. It was a ring case, and when you open it up, you just seen the butt cheeks, and it's supposed to fart. And so I knew that would crack up my wife, right? So then I bought it,
And
but
it doesn't
then
fart.
but when you open it up, it doesn't make any noise. You just get a butt. And yeah, I almost lost my shit about that. I was gonna call Trump, and I was gonna, like, well, we were thinking about like,
Fox?
yeah, I was actually thinking about starting Amazon on fire, is what I was gonna do. But then I thought of the thoughts of actually, finding Jeff Bezos and blowing up his yacht. You know what I mean?
So-
you're gonna get on some lists.
I
You
didn't
gotta
do
watch
any
yourself.
of I didn't do any of that shit. What a waste of time.
No.
Happy birthday and gave me somebody else's ass.
I explained to her what it was supposed to be, and then I said the classic line that I say to everyone: "Hey, listen, they say it's the thought that counts.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. I'd ignore it.
Maybe a thought would be to just move to Canada,
Fuck.
because it seems like they do everything better than the United States anyway."
No, it's colder there. No.
No, they don't.
Good.
I'm just passively, you know me. I'm just passively waiting at this
Yeah.
point. So
Right.
I'm not gonna. I'll figure out what to do with it. But it's like one of those things.
Send them $1 a month. Fuck off.
No, I mean it's like
another
I'm-
thing that I would.
yeah. It's not even Trump's fault. It's the entire system sucks.
Right.
So it's like you
Yeah,
kind of
but
have to like.
I don't think it was by accident, Matt, really truly, that we're talking about the subject, is what's hard and what's not. I think we all have seen people, including me myself, I can blame myself, that what's that phrase? Sometimes we have a tendency of making a mountain out of a molehill. And it's like you can get,
It's true.
things
Yeah.
that have happened in my life that I looked at and I went, geez, I bring it up all the time. I don't even mind telling on myself. But it's like, all of a sudden, one of the owners of a company called ACN, me and him didn't get along. So what I do is I just destroy my whole income because this guy's an asshole.
Yeah.
It shouldn't have bothered me at all if I was just grateful for the money that was coming in and the business opportunity. And I didn't have to get on my high and mighty and tell him if he didn't change some stuff that I was walking away. He could have gave a shit about me. So I can't pay my bills and he's still got a company.
Yeah, well, it always, yeah, I get it. Like it's the
I mean, we just had FedEx here. I could have run out there and ripped it out.
that's funny.
Hey,
You're like my son.
my son got a $320 bill from you fucking dicks.
Yeah, no, I mean I think like it's interesting because there's this duality, and maybe this is part of the daily wisdom or where it's supposed to go, but it's like
I do.
The duality of it is you know, you brought that up. I don't know why. Maybe it's like a human thing. I mean, it's got to be, right? Because we all do it.
Yeah.
But why is it so entertaining to rant and watch someone rant more than it is to watch someone say positive shit? Like I can tell you guys right now, I rarely, if ever, watch like somebody do positive motivational speeches or anything. Maybe that's just me, but like a lot of the entertainment and the things that I consume are like normally like people that are pissed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or whatever it
You
may
brought
be.
it up to me the couple of times ago. I brought it up, I think, yesterday. Is that, me, I'm looking at like the movie she likes watching Studio, right? And this movie's similar to Studio. And I'm watching five people talk over each other at exactly the same time. And every one of them is saying something that's totally a lie.
How do you know?
And I'm going like, well, because they say stuff like, I'll get a couple of lines in my head where it's like, where did you get this? Oh, I got it at the Target. They didn't get it at the Target. See what I mean? And then she goes,
Yeah, that would tear me up.
And then
No.
the other lady that knew where she got it goes, yeah, I was with them. We got it at Target. So now they're both lying. And then one of the people go, well, isn't that Target closed on Sunday? And then I'm going like, all of them are just talking fucking nonsense. And I said this to Matt. Matt goes, well, if you did a video of an average family, it would be so boring, no one would watch it. So what they have to do is they have to over exaggerate stuff and all be upset and all have drama. You know what I mean? Because then we sit there and watch it, and Terry's laughing her ass off. And I'm trying to go, I don't understand what's going on here. Everyone's just full of shit. The other lines were, you watched this, if you remember. See, there's the problem.
Well, when
All
I'm
right.
stoned, I don't remember shit. So there you
Right.
go.
But
It's great.
so they were this guy.
That part of your brain that fucks with you disappears, and the part of the brain that has fun, it shows up.
I ruined a whole.
Maybe everyone's laughing at me right now.
I ruined a whole buzz last night because we watched The Old Man, which was very slow. Ruined my fucking buzz. I
Yeah.
was like,
I mean, any movie that's called The Old Man, I'm not
Yeah,
watching that.
This guy,
it's good.
They
It's
already
got
tell you not to let the old man
Well,
in.
Holy
So
shit! It's slow. I don't care.
it's good. It's good. Because there's a bunch of military stuff in Afghanistan going on, but no, the guy holds a gun to their head and gives them an envelope and says, "Go in here and rent an apartment." So they walk in, and the guy comes up, and he goes, "What's that big of money?" And she goes, "Do you have any drugs?" That's not what he told them to go in and do. And he's going, "You think I'm a drug dealer? I own this apartment building." So now they got to get in there. Yeah, we just got out of rehab, and we're really, really sorry. But we're married. They wasn't married, and we have a kid, and they don't have a kid. They're brother and sister. And I'm going like, what? All they need to do is just tell the
Are you
truth.
talking about Big Mistakes?
Yes.
What a great fucking show. Jimmy. I love it. That's a good buzz to carry on you through that show. Great show, good buzz.
that's why I'm
But-
waiting for White Lotus again. Like that's
Right?
the type
I
of craziness I
Oh, my
like.
God.
Right. It's a good buzz thing.
But
See,
anyway,
I can watch
this got derailed a little.
NASCAR. I can watch NASCAR and UFC, and they're not all
Well-
lying. They're not all looking at each other lying.
Well, I mean, first of all,
Okay.
First of
No,
all,
hey, don't get on my wrong side, Matt.
I know.
No, I'm joking.
It's like first off, you know, the betting system has made a lot of sports, some would say rigged.
Right?
Oh my God. Well, hey,
Sandy, you and I could just hang and watch shows. I don't know if you do edibles at all, but we would do them together. We could just giggle and laugh and eat shit we shouldn't. You know what I mean?
and
That's why
I
we're gonna
can
have
just
an event one of these days.
I
and,
can do my very, very best. I can do my very, very best not to get irritated.
It's like, yeah, I was gonna say we'll have our first event and we'll do it in like Hawaii or something, and then all of the stoners can get stoned, and then my dad can
Right.
like sit
is
there and do
is it legal in
It's
Hawaii?
amazing. Who cares?
Yeah, it's definitely legal in Hawaii.
I don't know, man.
Let's do it.
A lot of
I'm pretty
weirdos.
sure.
A lot of weirdos in Hawaii.
Right?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, and we'd
down the
be
street.
adding to that pile when we got there.
Yeah, it's called Island Time. I've done presentations on islands, a lot of islands, and it's called Island Time. So the meeting's at noon. And some people show up at noon, and some people show up at 12:30, and some people show up at 1, and some people show up at 1:30, and some people show up at 2, and some people show up at 2:30. And I mean, every half hour, I'm just repeating the presentation because no one can fucking show up on time. You know,
That's funny.
it's called
Yeah,
Island. It's like we'll get there when we're supposed to get there. When we get done
Speaking
doing
of,
our
since this
shit.
is more like of a comedic episode, I'll share this. But it's like when I went and got my haircut, one of the guys that was there was Mexican, and so I was talking to him about the fact that my wife is Puerto Rican, and he's like, I'm like, yep, my son's gonna turn 1 in June, so we're going out and having a family thing, and he's like, dude. A kid's first birthday party for a Mexican family. Have you ever seen? He's like, they show up at noon and they're there till 4 a.m. The kid doesn't even matter. Everybody's
Drink beer.
drinking and having a great time and everything like that. And I said, well, I guess that's how my first birthday was, from the sounds of it.
Somebody passed out in the bathroom.
Hey, it was a good time.
I
It
didn't
was a good
remember
time.
it. I don't remember it. So, all
I
right,
had to
guys.
do all the stupid stuff before you had memories.
Yeah, that's you stopped with all of that stuff the moment that stuff clicked
And
in.
then I picked up on it, but now I've stopped as well.
I totally didn't watch you drive down the driveways and shit with the cart and everything.
All
Hey,
right,
now the
we'll
good
let
thing is
everyone
you
go.
get to
Hey,
watch
we
me do that
said
stuff.
we said moving forward, we didn't know when we were going to start doing it, but we said we were going to start adding a little bit of edutainment. So I hope you guys learned something today, and you also were entertained. So.
That's what it's all about. It's like, you come on and you do a little rant and ramble, and before you know it, you find your way.
Yeah.
You
So.
do.
All right, love you guys. Thank you
you.
so much. Back to work
so,
for me.
So the deal is just don't make things hard.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I guess I'm tearing up that FedEx paper. I don't know what that's what I got. Everybody here said
Fuck
just tell them go fuck
Fuck off.
themselves.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And see, and that's why you build a corporation, because then when they try to sue you personally, you just tell them to F off.
Yeah, that's
They
the
go,
thing.
"Well,
Is like
we'll
me as a
ruin
private
We'll ruin
citizen.
your credit and your credit, and we go, everything's bought with the company. I don't give a shit if you ruin my credit.
Yeah, they'll forget.
Yeah,
about
no, it's like that's exactly the company. The company was like, "See you later. I ain't paying this." They disappear, and now it's my responsibility, I guess, but not. But you know what I mean. Yeah, you gotta just tell them to shove it.
I love you, Matt. Love you,
Love you too.
everyone.
Bye, everybody.
See you tomorrow.
Have a good Friday.